Mega fun and Melanine and well met indeed. I'm Adrian and welcome back to the Woodland realm as we continue on where we left off with the live stream on Saturday, and that is Haldir is under attack. Haldir has quite possibly the greatest army we've yet ever assembled. We've got an actual elite unit in this army, along with quite a few mid-tier units. You can see them dotted about here and there. And not only that, but this is a true merged army. You know, it represents both the Woodland realm and Lothlorien in all their finery and glory. But I've not started this one on the battle map as I normally would, because I need you to appreciate the overwhelming numbers that come against us, so that we can see just how bleak an outlook we have before us. Gorbler comes. Gorbler brings two generals with him, which is always a bit of a pain in the neck, and one of them apparently is fearless, so that's going to be interesting. And then he's got a few mid-tier units you can see dotted throughout. Whilst Goblin Headhunters and Goblin Stalkers you might think are actually trashy, they're not. They are actually Dol Guldur sort of mid-tier. They're better than you think, and both of them have the annoying morale damaging effect. Although I'm not sure that Goblin Stalkers had that, actually. No, they just have javelins. But the Headhunters have the morale damage. Pain in the neck. He's got some Mirkwood Uruks in there. We've got some Camul Shadow Rangers, but you'll note most of his army is depleted in one way or another. Beaten and bruised by elven superiority. They cower in fear before us. And then this fellow has got Camul's Shadow Guard, bringing the two-handed swords of the Eastlings. He's got some Uruk Slayers, Mirkwood Uruks again, Mirkwood Uruks, and some Wargs. But I do not fear our enemy today, because I think we shall smash them. And that is our plan. Now, if you haven't seen already, Divide and Conquer released a new version yesterday. Yesterday being the 18th of April 2021. And that is version 4.6. Version 4.6 is a bug-fixed version of 4.5. There is nothing new, but it is ridiculously more stable than version 4.5 was. Lots of bugs have been fixed, and I believe many of them are the work of Finn, one of the newest modders for Divide and Conquer. So if you play Divide and Conquer a lot, you absolutely want to jump on 4.6. If you play Divide and Conquer even a little bit, you'll want to get on 4.6. It is so stable compared to 4.5, and right up your alley if you're playing around with DaC. Before I carry on with that, though, where did we get attacked from? The fellow on the left is the one who attacked us, and he had reinforcements coming from the right. So whilst this hill over here looks nice, they might come in from behind us, which would not be all that great. But pulling back over here, there aren't really many hills. We could take this hill, but then they'll just stand on that one and shoot us. And we can take this hill, but it's not really a hill, is it? This over here is the best location. It's a lovely looking hill overlooking the valley. They're coming in from there, and I think the others will be coming in from this side angle. So, do we risk it for a biscuit? Because that's such a blessed hill there. Yeah, I'm going to risk it. So, get on to Divide and Conquer version 4.5, get it installed, and then play away with the quality updates that it brings. And I mean quality, because it's like quality of life updates that it brings, which is good. Something that we could have done a long old while ago, but one of the chief reasons of my deciding to step away is releasing a bug-fixed version is something you should do. It's a mod, not a game, and even games have faster update cycles than that. And it was just all part of the reason why I thought the mod is stagnating under my control. I need to pass this on to someone who will do it justice. So get into Divide and Conquer version 4.6 and play away. Particularly one of the biggest changes, though, it's not really new, but at least it is a fix, is the mercenaries now work properly. Ah, the enemy's coming in from all the way over there. So actually, this hill has proven to be perfect. So ballista, swivel around, archers. Do we pull back up to this little hill here, or do we keep fighting where we are? No, we kind of want to use that hill in inverted commas in front of us there. Javelins take the front line, and then melee forces, let's just stand in a line in front of those. Maybe not as wide as that. Our flanks aren't protected though, and they've got a couple of Warg units, but it's only Wargs that they're going to try and flank us with. Or Sergeant, you go and get involved. So, yeah, so 4.6 is out. I did an announcement video. The installation is identical to 4.5, so if you've installed 4.5, you'll know how to install 4.6. It's the same method. So nothing stopping getting that. Downloads are on ModDB and Google Drive, and you can find the links in Discord, which is linked in every video on my channel ever. I'll need to update the descriptions moving forward, saying that the latest public release of DaC is now 4.6, not 4.5. So I'm going to have to go through my stock saved locations and edit all of those. Oh, they've got some catapults. Ah, yes, and we've got cavalry this time. Perfect. It's the hordes of Dogaldor. Their armies are really separated, and they're not waiting for them, which is foolish on their part, really. They need their support from their backup army, and they're not bringing it. I'm also absolutely thrilled to be bringing you Battle for Middle-earth, and whilst you can't see behind the screen at the moment, I'm holding all 3 games in my hand right now. Battle for Middle-earth 1, which I've got in a cool metal gold box, which I didn't realise, and I don't think it's a collector's edition, but it just came in a cool metal box. Battle for Middle-earth 2 with Glorfindel and Gimli on the front. An interesting mix, actually. Why would they go with Gimli when the primary dwarf that you fight with and play with is Gloin, isn't it? But it's Gimli definitely on the front cover. Maybe because a generic gold, silver armoured elf, many people will just think, oh, maybe that's Legolas. But Gimli... No, I don't know. I don't know why they put Gimli. And then the Rise of the Witch King expansion, of course. My plan is to play through the campaigns of Battle of Middle-earth, and then possibly, maybe, we could do some multiplayer with some of you guys, those of you that have it, because multiplayer is possible. I've played it before with people on the Discord. So maybe we could do that in the future as well, but primarily I'm going to start by playing through the campaigns, and I think I'm going to start with Battle of Middle-earth 1, to be honest. Bring some new Lord of the Rings life to the channel. Oh, we let the catapults fire off a shot, and it did some damage. Don't you hit anybody. Don't you hit anybody. Nice. They missed. Elder Council took a right beating. You fellows stay in defensive stance. The cavalry is going to shut down. No, like 2 seconds too late. Oh, Woodland Scouts took that right in the centre. Not what you wish to see. But it's done. The catapult crew is now defeated. Pull out and keep shooting things. Mirkwood Bodyguard coming past us there as well. It's always nice harassing the enemy from afar with ranged cavalry, because it throws their battalions or their companies or it throws their army like lineup completely off. They send units thundering after your cavalry, wasting themselves trying to chase your cavalry down, and it just throws them into a bit of disarray, which you can capitalise on. As you will note, most of their army is now being quite easily killed off. Javelin fire and arrows firing away. Ready your mounts! You go and hit the Mirkwood Bodyguard. The other 2 pull that unit away. Have you finished with your arrows, fellows? No, come and get a bit closer. Why don't you charge those, because you're going to shoot while you're doing it. You're going to hit those Mirkwood Bodyguard. You're going to curl around there, and you fellows can go back on that host. Did you kill any at all? 1. 1 bodyguard fell in that charge. That's pathetic. How did you do against the host? There were 46, and there are now 30. Ugh. We can watch them charge into the back of some Uruk Slayers, which should be nice, though. Could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot better. Oh dear. Right, pull away. You fellows charge back into those same Slayers. You guys can kill what you're attacking there. And are the Shadow Rangers running away? No, they're just repositioning. Ah, the reinforcing army is finally starting to arrive. They're faster units cutting through. This is even just 4 units of cavalry, and you spend your whole life just commanding the cavalry, hoping that your line holds. Maithori Thawar smashing through the Dogaldor host and Mirkwood Bodyguard coming upon them. Sentinels of Karen Amroth doing the same, and then we come up to our low tier militia on the top line. Won't be holding as well, but they'll still be holding, I should imagine. Ah, Zaguff the Fearless has gone down. Fearless he might have been, but immortal, nay. And he pays the price. Our men have slain the enemy general. And then the real general has died. Oh, it's just all going badly for them, isn't it? It's just not going well. Gorbler's gone. There's only 1 more left. And they're routing. The routing begins. Right, ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. Oh, do you want to see our Elven King's Bowguard? Yes, let's go and have a look. There they are in their Hobbit movie glory. The designs from the Hobbit film played out for you all there with the elves of the Woodland realm. Let your bows sing! Cavalry, let's pull out. Let's regroup and allow our enemy to decide what they're going to do now, how they're going to play this next stage. We've still got some goblin headhunters that we can go and target, so let's go and get them killed out. Killed out? That's not a phrase. Killed off. Goblin stalkers, they can be attacked. Goblin stalkers. Something that I do also want to do with the with the freer time that I will now have. Whilst obviously I wasn't doing much modding beforehand anyway, so my free time remains as free as it was before, really. But with the with that freer time, I would like to release another lore video, and I'd like to get into the swing of releasing one. I don't want to pin myself down to a schedule, really, but actually releasing one, I suppose, full stop, is probably a good start. And then we can look to release some more. But I was watching a couple of my lore videos this morning, actually. And I thought, yeah, no, I should return to these. Particularly now that I do have that extra space, extra time. Oh, our archer cavalry has been decimated. I've not been paying attention, and they've died out. Where is the backup force? Some of them arrived, but... Oh, look, it's going really slowly. We've got a whole nother battle to fight, and we haven't even finished off these ones yet. Ballista. Oh, you're about to run out of arrows. The cavalry's not doing very well against those headhunters. The cavalry's just not doing very well at all. It's just such low-tier cavalry that unless it gets a perfect charge, it just tends to do very little. And why are those headhunters not running away? Oh, there's Fire-Rune Mercs. Oh, cool. They look nice. I really like their weapon. And I like that the old-style Candish visuals survived, at least in a bit. Like they're inspired by the Candish visuals of old, which I did used to really like, I have to confess. I know that they were quite wacky in their design and very Chinese in their inspiration, but I just thought they looked cool. Right, the unit you attacked is routing. Let's surround and kill those slayers. There we are, that should have done them in. 20 of those remain. Yep, stalker's running away. Something's still shooting at us though. Shadow Rangers down here. No, come on. Come and kill the Shadow Rangers. There we are. Alright. The first army is now completely defeated. And let's come out of time 6. Group you all together. And just stand in front of our main line there then, like that, I think. Archers, pivot around a touch. And cavalry, let's move you over here. Speed her up. Archers, you are now free to fire at will once again before the enemy arrives. Oh, they're coming in over there and I've just lined us up the wrong way. Well, they don't really seem to actually be moving towards us, do they? Not really sure what they're trying to achieve. They're taking their bloody time about it. How many have we lost in that first defeat? 17% of our numbers have fallen, but we killed that first army. On those stats, we should be able to beat this second one with ease. We have got some wargs coming though. And could you walk any slower? Dear oh dear. The aim is to try and kill me, not bore me off the battlefield. Slow march. It's because they know that they're marching to their death. They stand no chance against the amassed elves, and as they slowly cross the battlefield, they look down beneath them and see the innumerable corpses of their own kin standing atop maybe 1 or 2 dead elves here or there, and they realise the daunting task that stands before them to defeat this host that has so easily killed their kin. Right, the wargs have gone on the left-hand side as we stand and look at it, and our cavalry stands upon the right flank. He says, as they move their cavalry across to the right flank as well. Although I don't really know what they're doing with the wargs. Oh, there's the Shadow Guard. Let's go and have a look at them. Looking very cool indeed. It's amazing how simple it is to make a unit look good by... Oh, they've hidden. By merely changing their gold armor to silver and then giving them a greeny-black cloak. What is shooting at us? Ah, now they're moving finally. Right, cavalry. Here's a task I have for you. Close in on them. Ready your mounts. Oh, the wargs just charged straight in. Oh well, brilliant. That's them done and dusted. We've got Orc fighters coming on our left side there, though. So, new target. New target. New target. You move up there.
From such, the battle is very much in our favor. Victory will be ours.
You go and hit those Mirkwood Orcs in the back. You hit those Orc fighters, and you also hit those Orc fighters. Stop them getting around that side. Although the bow guard are giving them grief. Although the bow guard are arguably in the worst position, actually. Those infantry, those fighters go down.
Half the enemy force remains.
Pull out and we'll charge again. You guys pull out before that. Did we lose the 7 of them? Oh no, they're still sitting over there. You get involved as well. 7 of you can't hurt, can it? Come back and hit those Mirkwood Orcs. Oh, the amount of arrows flying into those Mirkwood Orcs at the back there. Get them all knocking arrows in unison and loosing as one glorious force. Oh, and I've just charged my cavalry head on into spears and wargs. Ah, well, they're dead. Whoops. We look upon these sacrifices. We understand the toll it takes on their lives and their families' emotions. And we bear heavily the brunt of this sacrifice ever after. But we do not let that deter us from our overall goal, and a few sacrificial forces here and there is necessary to defeat the great and growing shadow of Sauron and his kin. Or, to put it far more eloquently, some of you may die, and it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Easily the best line out of Shrek. Right, pull out again, let's do this cycle charge for days. Is anybody not currently doing anything? Because I have plenty of tasks available for you. You fellows in the centre there, you're not really doing out, are you? Is there anything I can actually do with you, though? Is it worth charging archers into melee at this stage? I don't think so. Riders! If you've never seen Battle for Middle-earth, by the way, while I think about it, and you enjoy Lord of the Rings, I think you are going to really thoroughly enjoy the game. Unfortunately, Battle for Middle-earth is in... it holds a unique spot in modern gaming, in that many, many people have played it, many people know of it, and yet hardly anybody owns it. Because it came out, obviously, on the discs. These are disc boxes I hold in my hand. And it came out at a time where downloadable games was a thing unique entirely to piracy and had no legal method. You couldn't download games. It was all games were disc only. That's when Battle of Middle-earth came out. And unfortunately, Battle of Middle-earth is now locked in some sort of hellish rights battle between EA and the company that now has the rights to Lord of the Rings. And because of that, it is very unlikely to ever be remastered, because my basic understanding, and if someone knows more, please do tell me, because I'm actually quite interested in it, and I do keep meaning to read up on it, but my basic understanding is that EA no longer has the rights to publish Lord of the Rings games. And so even though EA published Battle for Middle-earth, they can't publish a remaster, which I think would be an outrageous success. I can't even formulate words. I think it would be such a success. But they can't publish a remastered Battle for Middle-earth because, technically speaking, that is publishing a new title under the rights that Lord of the Rings issued. And the EA don't have those rights, so they can't remaster the game because they don't own the rights to the games anymore. And I think that is what is causing it locked in this sort of hell. Who took the top spot? Just breaking 299 Lorien Scouts. 393 Lorien Scouts. 314 Lorien Scouts. So there I was, absolutely taking a right old steaming large one on top of the cavalry, telling you how rubbish they are. And in fact, all three of them got the top spot. Silver, gold and bronze to the horse. But yes, so Battle of Middle-earth will never be remastered. So what has happened is that nobody else can buy the game anymore because they've stopped making the game years ago. For your information, Battle of Middle-earth 1 came out in, it will say on the back of the box somewhere, 2004. Blimey O'Reilly. So it came out a wee while ago, and so they stopped making the discs years ago. So now, to try and buy games like Battle of Middle-earth or Battle of Middle-earth 2, one requires it requires you to buy a second-hand copy. And because they are so rare, those second-hand copies are often like £100 or £200, which is like $300-ish. It's ridiculous how expensive some of them get up to. So very few people actually own the game anymore, so very few people can play it. Now, that said, you can, I believe, you can resort to the downloadable game method of the time and do that in modern times, which I would not condone, but given that they don't make the game anymore, it starts to open an interesting moral question of when does piracy become archaeology? When does piracy become preservation? That's the question one would ask, because you can't buy this game new, and there are very few there aren't very many physical copies left. So, is it really piracy, or is it just game preservation, as I say? Interestingly, the gate here is... Oh no, we've got a baluster, of course. Come on, Gavin. Basic concept. We've got a baluster. We absolutely smashed those armies, and as you will know, Dorwinion has Emunmuil and Dorwinion has the Burnt Lands, so I'm actually fairly convinced this might be Dol Guldur last province that I'm about to relieve them of. Are we allied with the Dorwinion? Ah, yes we are. Oh, good. Good. We need to start putting some pressure on Mordor, northern armies, because otherwise Gondor will fall. And whilst I have got Gundabad over a barrel now, and the Silver Hall has been taken, I think Mordor are the real threat, and we need to do something before all of Mordor burns. And it would be nice, wouldn't it, to see the great white leaf of the Woodland realm flying atop the Tower of Ecthelion. For who else truly would be able to harbour and secure the future of the White Tree? We, the Wood Elves. Keeping trees alive is practically our raison d'etre, so I think we are in a good spot for it. But otherwise, I think we are actually at an end turn, unless this army can move out. Sort of. Yes. And we have got my Thruthawire in there, haven't we? I need to get them home and get them retrained. We don't have the ability to do that. But we've got a Mythor army over here, haven't we? We could merge them. Here, look, we've got 31. Are you 10 worth merging? Probably. But what we need to do is cross that river and take the Snow Orc capital of Dane's Hall. Why is that your capital? Oh, give me a spy. Please say me you can take a spy. Yes. Right, we'll stay here for one turn whilst Gundabad just decides what they're going to do. And then we'll move our spy out.
Yes, my lord. Swiftly.
You head over there. You'll probably be attacked. That might just get you killed. I mean, it almost certainly will, but you might make it. Actually, should we merge up and meet with him? Because if we stay here, we'll just be besieged. Yeah, I think we should. So we'll leave behind an absolute token force. Merge that army in, and then leave our army outside the walls.
Stay alert.
And we'll see where we go, but let's end the turn. I also bring news that work towards the reunited kingdom is next on the list for Divide and Conquer. And Finn has already started making great strides towards getting that implemented. Note that the reunited kingdom that Divide and Conquer was always going to implement, and this, I'm not privy to the discussions, but I am privy to the work list and information that Lynx gives me. And previously, our plan with the reunited kingdom was to do it very, very basic approach. We weren't going to require the user to run a batch file, which means saving your game, closing it down, running a file, loading it up again, so that then you get all the reunited kingdom stuff. We weren't going to do that, and we weren't going to make it overly complicated, and we were going to make it come in quite early on so that a player can choose to either play as the Northern Dunedain, or the Dunedain as they should be known, and the reunited kingdom. So it's a decision you get to make rather than, oh, I've won the game, what else is there to do? Oh, I might as well form the reunited kingdom. I was always vehemently opposed to that. And the team seemed to be on my side. So I think they're going with the same approach, that it will be very much a choice of, shall I play as the Dunedain for the whole game, or should I play as the reunited kingdom? And I think they're also keeping the approach of making it very straightforward and simple to obtain. But the reason I'm saying all of this is because actually the work to get the reunited kingdom up and running is actually very, very minimal. And it shouldn't take all that long, which is another reason why we failed you as a mod team, because it really won't take all that long. They're not huge sweeping changes that need to be done. It's all minimal stuff. Now, I think what we will do is wipe out Dol Guldur once and for bloody all, because I think we do actually have their last region in our hands. So let's win against Dol Guldur in the battle here at Dor Norhach. They haven't got a very strong garrison. We've only got 2 rams and a baluster, but that'll be enough. And remember, this is a real castle, it's not an orcish one, so it will actually have walls and towers that will fight back at us. But on the subject then of Battle of Middle-earth, if you've never played it, the campaign in the first game follows the story of the actual games, and you play as a mix of Gondor and Rohan. in the first one, fighting through the War of the Ring. And then equally, you can then play on the obverse and play as Isengard and Mordor and win the War of the Ring for evil. So rather against the actual outcome of the story. And then in Battle for Middle-earth 2, you play as Glorfindel and Gloin, two lesser-known characters, although Glorfindel is an amazing character and we should all know who he is. But lesser known for many people because Glorfindel only appears in the first book and only then on a very minor addition, really. But anyway, and you play as the dwarves fighting wars in and around the Blue Mountains and around Erebor, and it gets other nations involved, and it takes a much different approach. So it'll be cool, actually, to play through the first game, then the second, so that you can get to all see the change that the game went through, what they brought to it. And I think for the first playthrough, I will just play the vanilla game, and then thereafter we can look at some mods. And then Battle of Middle-earth: The Rise of the Witch King plays through. You play as Angmar, which is a new faction added to the game, and you play the War of Angmar. I think it's just called the War of Angmar. Some say, I've seen opinion suggesting it should be called the War in the North, but the War in the North, of course, is another game, which is actually fairly enjoyable. And Jess and I played through that actually when she had a YouTube channel back in the day. All right, military forces. You're going to go with the It's the archers that are most important, though. Now, they've got towers, but they're not the type of towers that will damage our ram. So we can just move forward. No issue there. And it is just a case of raining hellfire down upon them. Although there isn't really a hell in Lord of the Rings. The closest approximation one can assume... We don't know what happens to human souls, so maybe there is a hell for humans, but of course for elves the closest you can get to is being kept in the halls of Mandos for a very, very long time because of your misdeeds in life. But even the halls of Mandos are not akin to a hell. They're more like a vast elven waiting room, and then eventually someone taps you on the shoulder and says, alright, you can go through. And depending on how good you were in life, this is a very bare bones and very basic description of this feature, but depending on how good you were in life, Mandos taps you on the shoulder and says, you can go now, you're done. So you just have to spend a amount of time there while your deeds are judged, and then you are released, as it were. And if your deeds were particularly sinister and heinous, I'm sure Mandos does not care much for Feanor, then you spend a very long time there. But you inevitably are released. Even an elf as cruel as some might say and wicked as Feanor, although many people don't actually think he did anything wrong. And it depends how you fall in the argument. But many of them will spend a long time there, and many of them will probably just pass through a whistle-stop tour, like visiting the supermarket, for example. You might queue for a few moments, but generally speaking, you're in and out. And others may well be there for a very long time, like to visit, like calling up the... DVLA, or I believe the American equivalent is the Department of Motor Vehicles, is it? DMV, don't you call it? I don't know what DVLA actually stands for. I think it's the Department of Vehicle Licensing and something, but I don't know what the A stands for. I've never actually had to call the DVLA, and for me personally, the longest thing I have to call is calling the bloody probate registry. Most people in the United Kingdom will never have to have called the probate registry, but if you have had to call it, you will know how absolutely useless it is, how long you sit on the phone, only to then be met by a call centre of all things. A call centre for a government agency. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then the person on the other end of the phone has no idea what you're talking about because they're not legally trained in any way, and they just know they know what to expect from their end, but they don't have any idea of the legal concepts. And sometimes you find yourself arguing and you just think, this person doesn't even know what I'm arguing about. This is nonsensical. So lowering one's expectation when calling the probate registry. But if the halls of Mandos are anything like calling the probate registry, then I do not want to go there. Do not send me there. Anything but the halls of Mandos. Anywho, I'm covering while the enemy decides to... Well, while the enemy has a little think about what they're going to do. You'll note that they've got some reinforcements, of course, that are weak, pathetic, few in number, are likely to cause a few bruises on our units than any actual damage. And because of this settlement only having a single gate, they have to run all the way around to come and meet us. Right, javelins, have you thrown everything yet? No, you haven't. Right, let's get in there and support our boys. Let's speed this up as well. So at the minute, we're just taking unnecessary tower damage. Do what the AI does. Come on, just push through, just push through. There we are, and then now kill them. flooding in. They're wild marauders. They're really easy to kill in melee. Come on, guys. Our baluster is trying to hit the units on the walls and instead is accidentally destroying the walls. Right, they appear to have made it through. Let's run through. Let's run through. How have you taken damage? Are you in range of the towers? I think you might be. Oh, there is a second gate. Oh, and they've made it through. Oh, I was going to move our archers around and block them, but that's unnecessary now. Right, ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire.
We will smash the enemy.
Who are you possibly shooting at now? And what? Why have they still got that tower? Is anything even on the wall? No, it's down here. Cavalry, come and get in. This army is going to be unneeded after this. If this really is Dol Guldur last settlement, which I really do think it is, we have no purpose for this army because Dorwinion governs and protects our southern border. Right, you can come out of that army. Oh, Callie's just come home. Don't listen to her cries. If you can hear her in the background, ignore her. She doesn't need food. She's had breakfast. Do not pay her credence. Oh, I turned my archers back on, didn't I? That was just silly. Right, come and get involved, guys. Come and stand in the settlement now that you're not being shot at. Everyone else is just slogging it up the main path, I suppose. Well, no, might as well send the cavalry around the sides. Semblance of tactics, any semblance of tactics, has gone completely out the window as we now fight the unbearable slog that is town centre battles. Particularly these forts. Castles really are so much easier to defend. They have such better defensive potential.
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
Our cavalry is ready. Cavalry is useless in towns, but flanking the enemy is always a benefit. If you could actually get into the centre there and kill some things.
Our men are in command of the castle.
Move on those Orc Slayers and stop them coming up to the middle.
Lost control of the castle.
Merkle bodyguards still. So the enemy general is now all that stands in the centre. There's the symbol of Dol Guldur, the Eye of Sauron, as an arrowhead. I always quite like that one as well, I must confess. So we'll probably win this one through death rather than timing, I think. Yes, there it goes. Clear victory. We lost 330, but it doesn't really make any odds. And Maithri Thawar took 113 down. Now, if we can turn this little castle into a springboard recruitment location, then it will be perfect for hitting Gondor, hitting Mordor. When fighting against Mordor, one needs 3 things to achieve victory. Number 1, ballistae or catapults, or siege, I suppose, because you're going to be facing so many great beasts and trolls, you're going to become sick of them. Siege is paramount. Number 2, if the siege fails you, range. You're going to need so many ranged options. Ideally, if possible, bring as many javelin forces as you can. Failing that, archers will do. There we are, Dol Guldur has been destroyed. Alright, and I've got 2 spies knocking around. One of you is going to go and watch Dantalad for when Dorwinion inevitably loses it. One of you is going to go down to there, and the third is going to go to the Black Gate as we prepare. I don't really like fighting Mordor, but I feel this time it's going to be wholly necessary.
Take it for the elves.
That fellow's gone, so he'll stop annoying us. And Dol Guldur is now nothing. Footnote on the histories of this world. Oh, we can retrain things. And I wiped out the garrison, sadly, so we're never going to grow. But we don't need a stronghold for castles to get the top tier, do we? Ah, bugger, yes we do. Damn it. I might move some people here then to jibby it around. Kados Galadon, forced population displacement, please. Yeah, you've got 13,000 people. I know people don't like doing this, but it's something I always do. Because otherwise, we'll win the game before that upgrades. It's just pointless then, isn't it? Send 5,000 people to Dor Norhak. Oh, I've done it the wrong way around. Dor Norhak. Dor Norhak means land of... it's like burnt lands, but Norhak specifically means something else. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I named it, but we're talking years ago now. But Dor means land. You see this in Dor Lomin, in Gondor, in Arnor. It's the same thing. It just means land. And Norhak, Nor means flame, and I can't remember what the second part is. I'm so sorry, everyone. Karas Galadon is going to pay for this removal of people by shipping 5,000 of its people away. There we are. So that goes down to 8. Dor Norhak rises to 5,784, which is manageable, and we shall be able to upgrade. But what I want to do is get some towers set up and sharpish. This is a vast wilderness, and we want to have sight range over it. So build me towers everywhere you can. The fellow in a Draikhan, you can also come and start building me towers as well. 2 of you combined should be able to cover this whole area. I want full sight range over everything in this place, because Mordor will definitely come. I also would quite like Achnoriorn back. And ideally I'd love Dol Guldur, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to take those things. I don't think we'll be able to trade for them. I could trade Silver Hall to the Anduin and take Achnoriorn in its place, which I would be happy to do. But we need to clear the attackers first, but I think I'll do that. I'll swap those 2 around, so Anduin can have that one and we'll take Achnoriorn. I'm not bothered about Silver Hall, but I'm going to keep Dane's Halls, definitely. Although I could trade Dane's Halls to Dale to swap for Dol Guldur. It just seems right that we should hold Dol Guldur. And also I believe we get unique. Don't we get unique buildings in Dol Guldur? We get better cavalry from Dol Guldur and Karas Galadon, so that's a good recruitment location. We could try and buy Dol Guldur as well, I suppose, but it's more likely they'll trade it. So I think we'll try and trade Dane's Halls. We'll give Dane's Halls to Dale, which they'll promptly lose, but that's fine, and we'll take Dol Guldur. But for now, that's going to conclude episode 1 of this week. So there will be another Wood Elves episode as ever. There's always 2 videos of DaC a week. And then the live stream this weekend, I am kind of coming around to the idea that I might do the first Battle for Middle-earth video as a live stream on the weekend. But I'm not decided yet. The only other game that I own that's Lord of the Rings related and is still the only game, is still a disc-only game, is Lord of the Rings Conquest, which I also own and have here in my hand. You've just heard me open the box for. But we'll see in the future. But bringing some other Lord of the Rings titles to the channel would be well worth it. But until then, dear friends, get involved with 4.6, get that downloaded, and enjoy it. And until we speak again, and farewell.